What I'm going to show you in this video is how to turn in this assignment. What I've got here is 10 different headshots of different models that I've shot. We're going to start out with Milwaukee here. And I shot him. I did something with his headshot, which I've told you not to do, which was I shot him in direct sunlight. Um, this photograph was taken around 12:30, so that's high noon, and the sun's directly above, and I've turned him away from the sun and dropped his chin just a bit. So as you see, the sun is hitting his head, and because his chin's dropped a little, his face goes in the shadow, and that works out just fine. What I'm going to do now is just do a little cleanup, the kind of cleanup that I want you to do prior to turning this kind of image in. As you can see, as you look at his face, he's got a few blemishes, a few zits. He's a young 16, 17-year-old guy, so he's going to have a few things happening on his face. And I want you to do some retouching on these images, but I don't want you to go crazy and try to make the people over into something they're not. I just want you to do a little cleanup. So I'm going to show you a few things that will help you with this assignment. So the first thing we're going to do, we've got this opened in Lightroom. What we're going to do is hit Command E, and that will export it to Photoshop. And it'll be easier to retouch, do the things that I'm interested in doing in Photoshop. The first thing I do when I come into Photoshop is I hit Command J, which gives me an extra layer that I'm going to work on, layer 1. You can title layer 1 if you want. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And so what I'm going to do now is just clean up in layer 1. I'm going to start off. Let's bring the cursor down, the brush size down just a bit. And I'm going to bring this up in size, not that much. Right about there. So what I'm going to do is he's got these little zits on his face. So we're just going to clean up these little marks. On his nose, he's got a blemish, a little redness happening here. Over here is zit. Over here, a little cleaning up. And just go through quickly. Remove this. Doing anything too drastic, but just cleaning up a bit. On his lip, he's got some oddness going on there. Bring this up. The shirt's got this odd little wrinkle in it, so I'm going to go to the clone stamp. I'm sorry, the spot healing brush is what we're using now, not the clone. I'm going to go to spot healing, go down to the patch tool, click on that, and I'm going to take the patch tool and just simply draw around this and move it over here and get rid of that way. And we're going to do that to this little bit. Just a quick little bit of cleaning up here. Get rid of this odd little wrinkle. All right, and we'll just get rid of this. And what I'm doing here is just getting rid of anything that draws your attention away from the subject's face. We're going to go back to spot healing, and Just a little bit of cleaning up there, a little bit on the nose here. And that's about it. That's as much cleaning up as I want to do on that face. Um, I'm going to hit Command S to save it, and the image will save, and then I'll go back to Lightroom. In Lightroom, I'll click on the image, number 2, that's saved. I'll go up, add a little contrast. I will bring up the shadow a bit because by adding contrast, we made his face a little darker than I wanted it. I'm going to bring down the highlight just a tad because that silver necklace is just a bit too bright. So I'm going to bring that down a bit. And that's about as much as I want to do to that image. When you're shooting a headshot or you're shooting an actor's headshot, you don't want to go too crazy with your retouching. You don't want to do something like, make it all blurry or, I mean, not blurry, but diffused or anything like that. You just want to keep it clean. I'm going to go back one more time. You can do this. I'm going to export it one more time and clean up a few little bits. All right, so I'm going to go up here and in the eyebrows, I'm seeing a few little things here that I'm not crazy about. Just a couple of little things. So just get rid of those. Go upwards with the eyebrow. Cool. Yeah, that looks good. Hit Command Save again. And saves. And then in Lightroom, goes back to number 2. Let's go down here. Look at that. Okay, that is cool. So what I'm going to do now is, hold on for a second. So, one of the things I'm going to do with this image, see this little corner right here? See how bright it is? I want to bring that down a bit. Now, there's 2 ways I can go about that. One is just use the rectangle tool, click on that, bring down the exposure just a bit, and then click in the corner and drag it, and bring down the exposure just a bit. All right, right about there. We don't want to make it too dark. And we're going to pull this just down right about here. Bring the contrast there. And we're going to click out of that. And so, click here and show you the difference. So, this is before I did any of the cleaning up and adjusted the exposure. And this is the after. All right, so we've done that little bit of work. What we're going to do now is hit Shift Command E to export this. I've already created a folder that's on the desktop. I'm going to export this in inches. Since it is Since this, I shot this image with a Hasselblad camera, so they're squares. So I'm going to export these at 5 width, 5 width by 5 height, 5 by 5 square at 72 dpi. You would export yours at 5 by 7 because you're shooting on cameras that give you rectangle images. So 5 by 5, I mean 5 by 7 for yours, for mine. This is going to be 5 by 5 because it's a square. At your resolution is, on this is going to be 72 pixels per inch. So JPEG, quality 100. So let me choose the file for these to go into. Desktop, headshots, choose. I'm going to export that one file over. Then I'm going to put another image by it. This is Raquel. So I did a series of shots of Raquel. That one's a bit blurry. I'm going to use this one, and this is shot in shade. It is a little greenish yellowish, so I'm going to add some magenta to get rid of a little of that green, and add a little blue to get rid of some of that yellow. She's got this reddish area thing happening here, and I'm not going to get rid of that because she also has freckles and so forth. And I'm just gonna clean up a bit on the background because that's a bit distracting. So again, Command E, and I'm going to go Command J, add our second layer, and then I'm just going to start cleaning up this background. Bring up the cursor just a bit and quickly go through and clean up this background. And I'll clean this up, and I'm going to speed up this part of the video or edit it so that you get what I'm doing. So I'm just cleaning up because this is a headshot and you can't have background distracting junk like this. So I'm just going to clean this up. I'm going to bring her up just a bit. And we're just going to clean up a couple of these blemishes on her skin. Not going to go crazy with this, but got to clean up some of this stuff. Okay, so I've cleaned up a bit here. Let's bring it down. All right, and then on this, you can, if you'd like, on this assignment, you can turn in some black and white. So we're going to go to Adjustment and click on Black and White. And in black and white, you can adjust these different color bands, so bring the red up a bit, making the black areas richer, bring the yellow up. You can, bringing the yellow up, you can do this crazy thing to the skin, but we won't be doing that. And you'll see when you bring the yellow up, any shadow area gets much darker. Um, any lighter areas get darker. Change the green a bit. Not much happening there. The blue. And you can see certain highlights when you change the magenta, what happens to them. Okay. So we've got what's going on in this image is we've got the light bouncing off the wall and creating a bit of a shadow here, a little highlight right here. We're done with that. We're done with a retouching of that. We're going to go Command Save, Command S. And here we are. We're going to now hit, let's see, we're going to bring up the exposure just a bit. Contrast just a tad. Change the clarity just a little bit, ever so little. Okay. And so, and let's bring down the highlights because the white t-shirt is going a bit too bright and we want to get, you want to see the pattern in it. Okay, you know you've got a good white when you can see white, but you see the pattern or the lines or some sort of texture in your white. If your white just goes plain, like if your white looks like that, you see how you see no texture there? If your white's doing that, then it's not working correctly. You've gotta have texture. Okay? So we've got texture, it looks good. We hit Command E and export to the same folder. Okay, now that we've exported that, we're going to hide Lightroom because there's a couple of other ideas I want to show you. So now, what I'd like you to do is you're going to take the images that you created and you're going to put two at a time on one background. So the images are in your folder. They're 5 by 5. These are, as I said, my images are square, so they're 5 by 5. What I'm going to do is go to Photoshop and open that up. And I'm going to create a new palette or a new document. It's going to be, let's make that new document, we're going to make it, the width of it's going to be 10. Let's make that 11. The width's going to be 11. The height and the orientation, yeah, the orientation is horizontal. The height's going to be 8.5. Okay. Go to headshots, open that up, and we're going to use the move tool and remove one image on and move it over. And then we're going to take image number 2. I'm going to move that over. All right, so you're going to put together your image. You're going to put together your images something like this. That's fine. You're next going to go to the text tool, or I'm sorry, the type. You're now going to go to the type tool, which is T. You're going to click on that, and you're going to come down here and create a text box. And you're going to type in some information about your actor. And so let's just call him Mark. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that when you're creating type, you can, one, choose the size, choose the type. So we've got American Typewriter, click on that, and there's a bunch of other type heads that you, or typefaces. Okay. Choose your type, so let's go with Arial Black. Arial Black regular, and type in, and we'll put the we'll put it at 14 points. It's going to be red. Left align, so put in the actor's name, Mark Anthony. And I think that's all we'll use for the actors. I mean, you could put in a number, a fake phone number if you'd like. So we'll go 310 785 2345. And that's how you'll turn it in. You'll create a document, use the move tool, move the images out of your folder, and present it thusly. And you'll put 2 of the same actor, because you'll be doing 5 of these with 10 images of your person, whoever that is. So this is how you'll turn in the final. All of them will have the person's name and a phony number, because they're going to be put up on the pages so that your classmates can see what you've done. And I don't want anybody's real number, or actually anybody's real name, so just use a fake name for everyone. If you wanted to change the type, the color, you simply click in the color bar and click on the color, hit OK, and you highlight it, hit the color, and boom, there you go. OK, and your colors change. Highlight, click color, choose your color, and it changes that. So it's that simple. Okay? This is what you're going to put together for, this is what and how you're going to put together for the final. Um, all right, that's about it. Good luck. And you're going to turn it in like this, okay?